Welcome to History Explained, where we illuminate the past to better understand our present. I'm your guide on this journey through the past to empower the future. Today is Sunday, May 25, 2025. As we do every Saturday, we're stepping onto history's most consequential battlefields to examine the pivotal conflicts, ingenious strategies, and decisive engagements that have shaped the fate of nations and the course of human civilization. This week, we turn our attention to the military events that unfolded between May 18th and May 24th, 2025. In Ukraine, the war with Russia reached another dramatic escalation. On May 24th, Russia launched one of the most intense assaults on Kyiv since the war began in 2022. The attack involved 14 ballistic missiles and over 250 Shahed drones. Ukrainian forces successfully intercepted 6 of the missiles and neutralized most of the drones through electronic warfare. Despite their efforts, the barrage caused at least 15 injuries and damaged residential buildings, shopping centers, and critical infrastructure across the city. This violent escalation came just days after a rare moment of cooperation, when both Russia and Ukraine agreed to a 1,000 for 1,000 prisoner swap during peace talks in Istanbul. While some viewed this as a fragile step toward diplomacy, the renewed airstrikes reveal a painful contradiction, an active battlefield and a flickering hope for negotiation coexisting uneasily. European leaders remain skeptical of Russia's intentions, warning that gestures of peace cannot obscure ongoing acts of aggression. In the United States, President Donald Trump delivered a politically charged commencement address at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Standing before the 2025 graduating class, Trump hailed the Army's accomplishments, praised a cadet-designed hypersonic rocket, and reiterated his plans to eliminate diversity and inclusion training from the military. He announced a grand military parade to be held in Washington on June 14, the Army's 250th anniversary, and also his 79th birthday. The parade will include more than 6,000 soldiers, 150 military vehicles, and 50 aircraft. With historical reenactments, flyovers, and live performances, it promises to be one of the largest such displays in American history. Critics say the timing and scale of the event raise questions about the politicization of the military, while supporters argue it's a fitting tribute to a force that has helped define the nation's identity. Elsewhere, Germany announced its most significant foreign military deployment since World War II. The country will permanently station its 45th Tank Brigade in Lithuania, reinforcing NATO's eastern flank in response to Russian aggression. By 2027, nearly 5,000 German soldiers will be deployed alongside civilian staff. For Germany, which has historically maintained a restrained military posture since the 1940s, this move signals a historic shift in its defense policy and a new era of European security coordination. At the same time, political debates across the continent continue to evolve. In Poland, a leading presidential candidate has openly opposed Ukraine's NATO membership and criticized further EU federalization. Meanwhile, the European Parliament has approved new tariffs targeting Russian and Belarusian fertilizer imports, and Finland has warned of increased Russian military activity along its borders. In a fragmented geopolitical climate, these maneuvers reflect a continent bracing for long-term strategic realignment. Farther afield, the United States Navy executed what it called the largest airstrike in history, launched from an aircraft carrier. The operation targeted hostile positions in Somalia, with over 56 tons of ordnance dropped in a single coordinated mission. At the same time, Australia launched its own series of military exercises, Predators Walk and Predators Run 2025, featuring watercraft, aircraft, and ground maneuvers. Residents near Dundee Beach and the Mount Bundy training area were warned to expect loud explosions, vehicle movement, and restricted access in certain areas. These exercises are routine, but their timing and scale reflect rising tensions and an increased emphasis on joint readiness in the Pacific region. And back in the United States, New York City kicked off Fleet Week 2025, honoring the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps. The parade of ships on the Hudson River marked the beginning of a week-long celebration. Visitors enjoyed flyovers by F-18 Hornets, military band performances in Times Square, ship tours, and demonstrations at the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum. Rear Admiral Carl Lottie emphasized the importance of recognizing the service members who stand behind every flag and uniform. In a week filled with strategy, ceremony, and show of force, Fleet Week reminded us of the deeply human stories behind military institutions. Taken together, these events paint a vivid picture of a world on edge, one where diplomacy and deterrence walk side by side, and where history is not a distant memory but a blueprint actively being rewritten. From Kyiv's air defenses to Washington's parade routes, from German tanks in Lithuania to training drills on Australia's beaches, this week's military developments remind us that the defense of nations remains one of the most complex, costly, and consequential undertakings in human society. Thank you for joining us for this week's exploration of military history. If you found this episode meaningful, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who values historical insight in today's fast-moving world. Up next, our Sunday episode, where we celebrate innovation and invention through the lens of current breakthroughs. Until then, I'm your guide for History Explained, where understanding yesterday is the key to navigating tomorrow.